So we wanted to come in and today we're going to talk about gun cases. And while we let the audience build for a couple of minutes, we were going to talk about tools. Ken suggested on the site there that maybe we talk about AR building tools and the different tools that you need to do that. And we started talking about roll pin punches and the starter punches that help you start the roll pins on your build. That way you don't have to have three hands. You can hold the pin in place and work the hammer. The different sizes of those for the different size pins that you have when it comes to building. And you got your finishing punches. You know, these are not a necessity necessarily. You know, you can do the same thing with an extra person and a pair of pliers, but they certainly make the job easier if you're doing it by yourself.
Yeah, I built mine without any punches at all, so running around chasing them because I'd knock them everywhere, but it went together.
Right. It does make the job easier.
Right.
You know, and having a set of these clamshells to hold your upper in place, a vise is invaluable to hold all this stuff, you know, while you're working. A magwell vise block, these are really nice. They're adjustable, so you can position your lower anywhere you want to position it. You know, at a bare minimum, this is a magwell vise block, and you can put it right in a vise like that and do the same thing, and you get a little bit of adjustability with it in the vise too. You know, the same type of deal there. Having a hammer, screwdriver, set of Allen wrenches, an armorer's wrench, and a torque wrench. So you get all the proper torque specs on your different places that you need that. We have a barrel nut wrench here that we fashioned up out of some steel to accommodate our barrel nuts. But the nice thing about most of these is that they act, you know, your armorer's wrench can be used with the torque wrench at the same time. And this does, you know, your barrel nuts, it does your flash hiders, it does your muzzle brakes, it does your castle nuts. It's an all-around tool. And having a good Allen wrench set, you're going to use a ton of that. And the bench block, this is a real nice bench block. Holds your upper, holds your lower, it holds your bolt, it holds your charging handle to put, I mean, it just does a host of things. Holds 5 of your parts in 8 different positions. So it's really an invaluable tool when it comes to building and or maintaining. You know, you invest $100, a little over $100 maybe buying all of this stuff, but it's not a one-time deal. You know, you're going to use these tools over and over again, maintaining and repairing your rifle, cleaning. You know, it's not something you're just going to, oh, I want to build an AR, but it's going to cost me an extra $100 for tools I'm never going to use again. You'll use these tools over and over again throughout the life of your rifle, and trust me, you're not just going to build one AR. Nobody ever builds just one AR.
A spline tool? A spline tool?
A spline. Oh, yeah, you can, there's a spline tool. I don't have one here. It's a rod, and your barrel, it goes in through the back of your upper receiver and locks into the barrel extension. And you put it in a vise, and you can wrench on it. Really, if you really need to wrench on something, you're not going to damage your upper receiver when you're using one of those. If you're careful, these will do the job, but if you really have to wrench on something, even with these, you could damage your upper receiver. So the idea of the spline tool is that you're not putting any pressure on the upper receiver at all. All the pressure is put on the barrel or the barrel extension and that rod.
Yeah, Russ asked about that.
I knew Russ would ask about that. So hopefully we've got a little bit of an audience building by now, and we'll get into what we came here to talk about today, and that's gun cases. And you know, why you would want to use one. there's a legal ramification to making sure you use a gun case, especially when you're transporting your gun to and from the range, to and from hunting, to and from anywhere. You're not allowed, so I don't want to misquote the law, and I'll pull it up and I'll read it to you directly. Now, this is Ohio. If you Google transporting a gun in my car in blank and fill in your state, you're going to look up the laws as it pertains to your state, so make sure you know your individual state laws. In Ohio, a person may not transport or have a loaded firearm in a motor vehicle when the firearm is accessible to that person without having to leave the vehicle. So what they're saying is that it has to be in a trunk. It has to be somewhere outside of the compartment. Right, out of the compartment where you sit. So a person may transport or have an unloaded firearm anywhere in a motor vehicle, whether accessible or not, as long as that person may otherwise lawfully possess the firearm under both Ohio and federal law, and it is carried in one of the following ways: in a closed package, box, bag, or case, in a compartment that can only be reached by leaving the vehicle, in plain sight, and secured in a rack or holder made for the purpose of holding the gun. And if it is a long gun, the person may also transport or have the long gun in a motor vehicle if it is in plain sight with the action open or the gun stripped in the type of action that will stay open and cannot be easily accessible. So they're saying, you have to take the bolt out, or you have to have the action open so that if an officer were to walk up to the car, he can see readily that it's not loaded. The easiest way,
Chamber flag.
right, putting a chamber flag in it so he can see that there's something impeding the barrel, and it's obviously not loaded. A cable lock, any one of those things can satisfy that requirement. And the easiest way to satisfy the requirement, if you want to carry the gun in your car, is with a hard gun case. And we'll talk about hard gun cases, we'll talk about some soft gun cases, and we'll talk a little bit about range bags. This is kind of the bare minimum. This is a $20 Walmart gun case. It's done up with all of the stickers that I get from different shows. It's my decorative. I get stickers, I just slap them on there. And this is a lockable case, but it's really not a secure case. Someone with a screwdriver could have this thing open in no time at all. But again, it satisfies the requirement of not being readily accessible. So you have your gun in there. This one's flagged so that you can see it's not loaded. A little bit of cushion, a little bit of padding to protect the gun, but otherwise, if you drop this, the gun could shift in there. It could move around. Again, it's the bare minimum that meets the requirement. So we step up to the next level, and we get a little more sturdy, a little more rigid. This has got some rigidity to it. It's got some, right? It's lockable. It's got 3 locking points. This would be considered acceptable for flight use. Not the most durable. The guys that load the luggage into the planes, they don't have a vested interest in your $1,000 gun in there, and they're chucking them in there. So, and this meets, again, a little more cushion, a little more egg crating, so that stuff doesn't move around as much. These are designed for, most of these are designed, these thin ones like this are designed for non-scoped guns. When you've got a big scope on there or something like that, you just, with a modern sporting rifle, you just break them into 2 pieces and put the 2 pieces in there separately.
Sounds good.
Yeah. But with a big scoped rifle, a hunting rifle where it has also going to stay in one piece, you can get these cases that are made for scoped rifles, and they're dished out deeper right here where the scope is going to sit. So if you use this for flight purpose, there are 3 locking points provided for it. One here, and one in the middle. you want to put a lock on all three places, because the idea is, okay, yeah, you put a lock here, you put a lock here, nobody's going to get it open, but if you don't put a lock in the middle, you know, you can pry this thing open, and you could get the gun out of there if somebody really wanted to.
Hey, Chris Smith said happy birthday to Jim.
Thank you all. Thank you for the birthday wishes yesterday.
Only 30 years old.
Yeah. 30 plus 23, right? So the next step up is some really high, you know, you start to get into the higher grade stuff that's made for flight. It's ATA rated, it's TSA rated. Matt's got a real nice one. And,
This is waterproof as well. Makes them heavy though too.
they do get heavy, right? Especially in the big ones.
So this is a big one. Like Jim said, way more sturdy. This one in particular actually locks on the clasp as well, and it's also got locking points for padlocks. And unlike the cheaper ones, this one comes with the cubed foam. So each little spot in here is a little cube. So I just spent some time and kind of peeled out the profile of my particular gun, and
You could drop this thing from 6 foot
yeah,
high, and that gun's not going to move in there. That gun cannot move out of position, can't get damaged.
yeah. And it's maybe twice as long width-wise. So this, even with the scope, I've still got plenty of room. I can probably put 2 rifles in here if I.
Or at least another handgun or two.
Right.
Yeah.
This I have just outfitted for this gun. So.
The relative price points.
You know, you're talking $20 cheap, $40, $50 for a decent one. You
This
probably
is 100, 150 bucks
Yeah,
for
that's-
a Plano, but you step up to a Pelican or something, you're 300 bucks.
yeah. If you get something like this in a Pelican this size, you know, yeah, you're in the $200, $250 range. But when
But
you're
not to say that Plano's bad. I mean, it's American made. It's a 42-inch hard case that has 2 locking points and 5 padlock locations. So it's for sure very secure.
yeah, you know, and you come up to a Pelican, and you know, this thing is there's
Yeah, that's
that's just about bulletproof, you know, and you're not getting in this thing. And I don't bring my keys in with me. Oh yeah, there they are. So we got 2 locking points.
So that's a good example of flight ready.
Right.
The locks on it already.
The only way to get in this thing really is to unlock it. I mean, if you had a hacksaw and some time, you could probably get in the thing. But, you know, and then you can see we're kind of, everything fits in here. We have a place for the magazine, we have a place for our ammo, we have a place for our weapon, and I can even throw my little sticky holster on top. And it's vented, pressurized for flight. These are made really just for flight.
Same with the Plano. It's vented and waterproof and all the good,
Yep.
all that good jazz.
Chris said condition 1 is his go-to.
Condition 1?
Yeah.
I've not heard of that one. But is that
Chris Smith?
Chris Smith? Yeah. He should post a picture of his Black Sabbath gun case. That thing is bad. He had a custom-made gun case for it, and it's a Black Sabbath theme. That thing is bad. I love it. Okay, so that's gun cases, hard gun cases. The other option, and definitely not flight use, and you know, it's made more for going to the range. It's a soft case. It's real nice. It's light. It's easy to pack away. It's very unobtrusive. You can stick it under the seat of your truck. But you've got everything you need right there. Straps your gun in. You know, it's not going to wobble around in there on you. It's Velcroed in. But you know, it's not going to protect it by any means. There's places for some magazines. There's places for some gear. But you know, this is a $35, $40 case right here. They make some of them that have, you know, a bunch of pockets. They're tactical. They got backpack slings on them. They got, you know, they're all decked out, and those will run you around $100 for a nice soft bag. And they got them in flat dark earth and OD green and all the different tactical colors.
The good thing about soft cases, though, is you get all the pockets, so you can kind of combine your rifle carry as well as all your range essentials all in one bag. Whereas, you know, if I take mine, I've got the gun in the hard case, and then I've got all my other stuff in a backpack or a range bag. So I got to carry two different things.
Hey, Jimmy, on the soft case, Russ said, like to see the scope towards the handle in case of an accidental drop.
Mm-hmm. That one doesn't have a scope on it, but yeah, you're right.
You can't hear me, so.
Okay, if you've got a soft case and you want to make sure you load that. Just like I have it loaded here. Right, so that if you did have a scope or an optic up here and you're carrying it in this position and you drop it, it's not going to land on the scope. The scope is in the upward position and it's going to be more protected.
Good point.
Then Caleb said, I'd like to save your gun cases.
Savior?
Mm-hmm.
Another one I haven't heard of.
To get
I'm
those
sure
guys.
there's so many of them out there.
Matt was just talking about range bags, and he's got his here.
Yeah.
This is mine. Yeah. Really nice. In fact, I got this one at SHOT Show last year. You know, and you got places for ammo. You can carry a bunch of ammo in here.
All the goods.
Pockets
You
off
got
the lots.
eye safety. You got some range gum.
Specific kind of gum.
What is range gum?
Just gum.
Oh, okay.
You got your hearing protection.
Thank
You got some more ammo. You know, it just, you can store a ton of stuff in here. So I like to use mine also as a carry-on when I'm going on trips. Nice, it makes a perfect carry-on. If you're gonna do that, I'd recommend buying two of them and saving one for a carry-on and using one for your range bag. Because if you leave a round in here somewhere, it gets tucked in one of these, there's a million little pockets, and you forget something, and you leave a box of ammo, or you leave just a live round in there, and you go through the AT or the TSA is not going to be happy with you. You're going to end up in the back room getting script searched, and it's not going to be pretty. So if you're going to use it as a carry-on, make sure you scrub it good, or just get a separate one and use it for a carry-on. You know, you can put bottles of water in there, snacks if you're going to be at the range any extended time. And backpackable, just throw it on your back and go. Put my glasses away. I'll get it. All right, so that pretty much covers gun cases, soft and hard, range bags, all different things that you want to make sure. You know, there's another, we talked about the legal ramifications of carrying a gun, not in a gun case, the safety aspects of it. You know, last fall, I do a lot of hunting, and I live out close to the Pennsylvania border, and right before Thanksgiving, a young teenage boy went hunting with a bunch of his buddies. They went duck hunting, and as duck hunters do, they have these sleds. They throw all their decoys in, they throw all their gear in, and they sled it out to the fields. And he broke a cardinal rule of gun safety. He had a loaded gun in the sled when it didn't need to be loaded. Don't know if something in the sled knocked the safety out of engagement or if it was left off of safety, but he reached in, grabbed the gun by the barrel to pull it out of the sled. Something engaged the trigger and he shot himself in the stomach with a 12 gauge from about a foot away, and he didn't survive. He was pronounced dead at the hospital by the time they got him there. So, having a gun in a gun safe is definitely a safety thing as well. And never having a gun loaded until you're ready to shoot it, until you're ready to begin hunting, is another, just another big safety thing. You just don't do it. You don't load that gun until you're ready to use it. So that's it for this week. We had a question of the week that talked about gun cases, and if you want to shoot a picture of your gun case over for a chance to win our sticker pack this week, we're gonna pick that on Thursday. This week's special on BYOAR.com, we have all of our handguards free shipping. So we typically have a $125 threshold. You get free shipping if you spend over $125. This week till Sunday at midnight, free shipping on any handguard, even the $60 7-inch, even the less expensive ones. You get free shipping on that. So don't forget to submit your question, and remember, you don't have to be an expert to build your own AR. We're here to help you do that. That's why we do this every week. We're going to continue to give you great content. You guys want to see us do something, you want to see us talk about something, you want to see a show or a quick live on something, shoot us a question or a suggestion, and we'll get it up here. We'll do it. So thanks, y'all. Have a good week, and we'll see you next week, Tuesday at 3:50.